sitting up here in the middle of nowhere. This is where I'll be sitting.
This is a light-homing aircraft engine. It's horizontally opposed. It's not
How powerful is this engine?
125 horse.
125.
Pusher prop, so you don't hear the engine, you don't hear much of the noise. It's got a 3-blade composite prop.
Well, that's kind of an unusual configuration.
Yeah, it's a different sound. Performance-wise, I guess it's a little bit better. You know, just a little bit
Yes, I
different
used to have a dog
technology.
just like this.
It's carbon fiber. It's pretty neat.
Yeah, carbon fiber.
And it's an experimental, which means it was home built and it's not regulated by
FAA.
as many of the FAA rules and regs. As you can see, we have some diving weights on the back to affect the weight and balance of
Really?
the airplane. And you know, it is what it is, but you still want to pay attention to make sure everything is good and inspected. Yeah, all the components are aircraft grade.
Every once in a while, you got to fly this thing over to Lafayette and get it checked out by the FAA. Or?
No, we do an annual inspection ourselves once a year. And okay, so what I'm gonna do now is just make sure we have enough fuel and a little glass with the
That'll tell you if your fuel is pure.
yeah, get that little stream cup. We'll I'll check the fuel, and there's a little straw.
You put your tequila in here, and you stick this on your tongue, and that opens it up.
It's a good thing he's not going to be anywhere near the flying controls, right?
Actually, it's dual controls if you want to.
Oh gosh.
Try it. Yeah.
There you go.
Okay, so there's no actual fuel gauge on the instrument cluster. So this little straw is calibrated, and you do just like you do in a soda or iced tea. You drop the straw in there, the gas goes up the straw, and then you put your finger over the end of it. It tells you what you got. We got about 7.5 gallons. It burns about 5 gallons an hour.
Okay, so we
got enough for an hour. And because of the weight, I don't need to add any more fuel than that. We'll go for about a half an hour. If you like it, I can come back and add a few gallons. But since we're not adding fuel, we'll have a little bit less weight to do it. And regardless of whether or not we added fuel, this is the lowest part of the fuel system. So if there was any water in the tank, it would flow down, and then before it goes to the carburetor, the water settles out of the gas, because water's heavier than gas. So once you strain it like this, if there's any water in there, you would see it.
And it looks pretty clear.
Oh, it's clear. A couple of little knickknacks, but watch, let me show you what it would look like if there was no water.
How much does the plane weigh, Jimmy?
That plane will weigh about
1,200 pounds or something? 1,300? Okay.
It's in the light sport category.
This is what it looks like, Lee. Let me see. If you do have
If there was any water in it, this is what you would see. See the water on the bottom? Man, it's like olive oil, and
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, it's totally easy to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, one of the things that we don't do in this little aircraft, we don't run because the engine is at a certain horsepower level and configuration. That engine can burn automotive gas. So what I have in there right now is 93 octane non-ethanol. The ethanol is real easy to spot.
Well, they have to tell you when they sell it.
What you do to check the ethanol, yeah, but there's some places you don't know. They won't necessarily tell you. But what you do is you get your little container. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. It could be one of these bottles, and you put you an ounce or so of water in there, and either mark it or identify it. Okay, it's at this second mark. When you add the gas to the water and shake it, what happens is the water level, the water that's in the bottle, pulls the water that's in the ethanol. The molecules bond, and so what will happen when it settles, the water level is slightly higher than it was before because it pulled the water out of the ethanol in the gas. So if the water level rises, you know you got ethanol in the gas.
And you don't want to use it.
And you don't want ethanol in the airplane. So this is what it looks like if you have water in the fuel. You can go jump down on that stake where we stake the door.
All right.
So that's one advantage of the little plane, because avgas is about anywhere from 550 to 650 a gallon. And of course, automotive gas, we can get it for about 380.
Right.
So it's cheap to fly. And it runs fine, there's no problem with it.
So what's the maximum sort of crosswinds you can handle in a plane like this?
This little plane right here, about safely, probably about 20 knots.
Okay.
Comfortably about 15 knots.
All right.
But right back on the corner.
Yeah, that's fine. The windsock right here, if you notice the windsock, watch your head. There's a little bit more crosswind than what I would have used this morning, but if you notice, it's east, southeast. Right now it's southeast, and then it'll swing over to east. And so if you did the math on the E6B, the little flight computer, let's say you have, we'll do just a hypothetical, but let's say the wind is coming straight out the west. We're gonna take off going straight into the wind. We have no crosswind component. Let's say on the other hand, it's 90 degrees across the runway, 10 miles an hour. Well, you have a 10-mile-an-hour crosswind. But if you go to 45 degrees or southwest, then that 10 miles an hour becomes about a 5 mile an hour because it's not 90 degrees, it's angling.
Yeah.
You see.
The component.
If it's right down the runway, it's 10 miles an hour of lift.
Right.
If it's crosswind, it's 10 miles an hour pushing you. But if it's 45, then so everywhere is in between. There's a little computer I have on my iPhone that tells you what it is. But that's great right now.
Yeah,
It's,
we're in pretty good shape.
Yeah, it's
We'll
excellent.
take
We're just
off in
going to
that
take off
direction.
west. All right. Okay, so next is let's get our head here and here. Okay, so the actual, I looked at it earlier, but you want to just make sure all your pins are good, all the bolts are good. Just kind of visually do a check, make sure all that stuff is right. And we got enough fuel, and we don't have water in the fuel, and the prop is on, and the wings are on. You can check all these, make sure all that's good. Okay, so you know where it is. Ear protection, eye protection. You're going to ride the back seat.
Oh, yes, thanks.
Right now, yeah. And then y'all going to both help me, or one of y'all's going to help me push it out.
All right.
Okay, so y'all can each get on the
Here,
wing strut.
Yeah, you hold the camera. I'll help him
You
out.
shoot, show Mama how to shoot.
It's still recording.
It's not that heavy.
Just put your hand through there.
All right, just go. It's not that heavy, just easy, just push it easy on it. All right, go ahead. Keep going.
It actually does feel pretty light.
It is. It's not bad. I tell you what, it's a wonderful little airplane. We love it.
It's gonna be loud. Go ahead and run.
We'll go around, we'll do you in the back seat. All right. And then you can film if you want from the back, or you can let me have the camera. We can pass a few times so you can get some aerial. All right. And then we can switch later and just whatever, man. All right. So
Maybe that would be a good idea. If you want to do some video, I'll leave the video camera with you. I'll take the.
we'll take off and then we'll come back and do a low pass, and you can get a couple of.
Okay.
I'll take the Nikon still,
All right.
and then I can also shoot from. Does this go over my glasses or do I?
That goes off. No, you're not gonna.
All right, take my glasses.
Well, listen. If you need your glasses, you don't have to wear these, because the wind in the back is not too bad.
All right. Well, I do kind of need them.
All right.
Why
Well,
you
do
can't
this.
put them over
Put
your
those on
glasses?
first. They're not gonna fit over your glasses. No.
Yeah, they will.
Maybe.
Yeah, they will.
All right. I'm gonna wear Andrea. I'm gonna wear these little goggles. So hang on to my.
Yeah. Okay.
And I don't need these. I don't need these gloves. Hang on.
I'll hold the kids.
Andrea.
Give me the Nikon, Lee.
Okay.
Is it in here?
Yep.
Is Lee going up?
Not now. Hoping. Will I get a ride?
Well,
Yes.
yeah. Well, maybe you ought to go first, because the second ride I'm gonna take.
I'm sure. I'm down for whatever.
All right.
Yeah, buddy.